Yo, we're back with Andrew. He's top locals with what deck?
The Imperial deck, still the best deck, every format, every day. Even when you don't win, always best deck.
Best deck?
Best.
Show us the best deck, King.
Alright. You get 4 shiny Demi Vs, because it's still the best egg. He's a good boy.
Draw card good.
He draws things. We're back on 4 Labramon. Because you pretty much almost always have jamming now. So this guy's better than ever. And we'll get to it later, but obviously you run the Lanamon as the choice of hybrid because it gains jamming and then you get to gain a memory when swinging, so that's really good. Believe it or not. 3 green Wormy Boys. No issue with this going over the egg. No reason not to play it over the structure deck Vmon because it does the same thing and still gives you more DNA options. Yeah, he's alright. And he searches the Dual Tamer, which comes up here and there. It's not a huge deal. You just kind of want consistent search. Yeah. And with this, you have 8 searches.
8 searches and 8 end of turn DNA. Pretty good.
Because you have your actual best searcher. This guy here, which grabs any one of your 6 Tamers that I run. And the end of turn Jogris, which is really, really cool as well too. And sometimes I'm torn whether I want him on the stack or on the field, but you know, that's an amazing card. This card elevated the deck a whole heap.
I relate to that feeling.
That rookie lineup is pretty damn standard across the board, but maybe some people might mess around with the ratios here and there. So for level 4s, we grab 3 of EX1, XVmon. I messed around with ratios for these guys for a while. I ended up settling on 3 and 3. We'll get to the other one in a moment. I still like this for the early aggression, and then for later with the combos with Dragon Mode and such, you kind of want the other XVmon. So this is kind of the early game, and if you can close out an early game, this guy's the better one to see. If you need to go into a value game, then the other one's good. But he's still a good boy.
Good lad.
The best. The other one from BT12. So gain a memory when you Jogris with it, which is cool. Gives jamming, doesn't have jamming, which sometimes hurts. But again, you start doing, especially with HBD, you start doing some stupid stuff when you start spitting these ones out for free and then just gaining memory for free when you DNA with them. Very, very good. And you can also do some end of turn plays to stay on turn with the rookies that we saw just before. So he's a cool card. The last blue level 4, 1 Lanamon. Again, so this is your hybrid for a game or for combo. You can really actually combo well with this one just because it has jamming initially, so there's a very high chance it actually survives the check. And ideally you have the Labramon under it, so you're going up for 2, drawing a card, Labramon under it, swing, gain 1 of that memory back. It's a net 1 hybrid most of the time. Very, very cool. The uses for Jogris, it doesn't give jamming or anything like that, but you know, it does the thing. We're still on 4 structure deck Steamon. This is your draw engine, and coming down for 3 is always still nice. Though less important now with the end of turn Jogris stuff, but you know, the other Stingmon comes down for 4, gain a memory, this is 3 straight up, so it's kind of the same maths wise. Especially if you're Paldramon, you really just kind of want to be able to draw and so you can keep finding more things. This is better than the other Stingmon, but I still run both. And then rounding it off, 2 of the new Stingmon. So it still finds its uses, especially with the new Dynabe. More often than not, I want the other Stingmon and the ratios reflect that, whereas the XVmon, I'm kind of happy to see them as much as each other, and the ratios also reflect that. So
makes sense.
That's the 4 lineup.
Show us them big 5s.
So 5s. We've got, of course, the actual main win condition of the deck.
King.
Paldramon, this is still many sets later, incredibly aggressive, very, very good card. You just swing it twice, and now you have a few options, right? So you're always bottom decking something, assuming they've got something small, but with this guy, you can bottom deck something and pierce over 2 small things if you're versing a lot of aggression, and still getting some checks in. Or obviously with your OG Stingmon, you're getting to your other pieces, so no reason not to run this at max. It's still the best single card in the deck, except maybe HPD.
True.
Card's a little bit good. And then 3 Dino B. This card's very, very good. There's no reason to run any other level 5s other than these 2 guys. The new Pal kind of sucks, but comes up here and there. I don't run it. And old Dino B is just not even in existence. So this combos really, really well with the fighter mode for down the track because this will indiscriminately suspend something, and then fighter mode just needs something to be suspended to bottom deck or bounce it depending on the materials you've got under it. The inheritable comes up here and there on the grind games to trash the security if you hit something with Imperial. That doesn't come up as often as you'd think because most of the time you're just going for game with your 5s, but it's definitely a really good inheritable. It just doesn't come up as often.
Doesn't come up too often.
Yeah,
Be good in those grindier matches.
100%. We are back on 2 of the old Dragon Mode. I really tried to make the new BT12 one work. I think you can make it work, but you have to lean really heavily into it.
Yeah.
And by that, you need to run lots of the new Tamer, lots of probably more of the new level 5s, and go probably 4 and 4 with the new stuff. I just found it a bit cloggier. It takes longer to find your pieces, and just shoving a Dragon Mode, spitting out 2 4s, and saying deal with it sometimes is just too much.
It's good.
Yeah, especially if you're on
If
3,
DNA.
put them at 1, split it, have the 2, and then next turn you're off to the races. Especially if you have the jamming XB on, you get a free swing in, and then you just keep on going.
Very true.
The new edition, however, the BT12 fighter mode is incredibly better than the old fighter mode. So it almost always will deal with 1 threat on the board. Almost always is going to be checking 2 security. It has blocker under most circumstances, which can come up. Again, you're generally playing the really aggressive deck, so the block is but still very, very good to have. And ideally, it's designed, you just want to clear a board. You just want to suspend all your opponent's stuff as much as you can, have this under here, return this to hand, and bottom deck all their cards, ideally. And last one, we are unironically running 1 copy of Paladin mode.
He's playing it.
Yeah. Now, this card is pretty bad. It's not a good card in a vacuum, not at all. However, it is a card that is now searchable through your rookies, and it is a 1 card out to decks like Machine Dramon, which are now just like steamrolling with recovery. And this deck, there's certain matches you just can't win. Machine Dramon is one that sometimes falls into that category unless you open a ridiculously aggressive hand. This is one of the few things that even with a Chaos Dramon X with 20 materials, at least you can strip it all and deal with the board. This is something you will not use most games, but there are just games where if you don't have something like this, you just know it's almost a null and void game. Whereas at least I know with Machine Dramon, yep, okay, I've got an out. This is the 1 in 50 game where I might actually use the Paladin mode. So bad card, but we need to run it.
Yep. Very fair.
On the Tame situation, 3 of the good Davis. I usually like this at 4. At the moment, I've been happy with 3 for now, mainly because I now have 8 rookies that can all find this Davis. Whereas previously there was no searching for the Davis itself, so you just had to hard open it. The math works out that if you don't see this Davis, chances are I'll see a rookie which will then find the Davis. So 3 is now fine. You still want to open this though, for the memory gain, for fixing your pieces. It's just ridiculously good.
Card good.
Speaking of Davis, we got Davis and his fucking Ken. Just for the push turns, like this is a Davis and Ken. This card I've always kind of gone anywhere between 2, 1, and 0.
Yep.
I like it at 2 for a few reasons now. One is that Wormmon has a chance to add it because it's got the Ken in the name. Not the biggest deal, I wouldn't revolve the whole deck around that, but it's a nice bonus. But second, just those push plays, especially if you have a Dragon Mode survive and you can like swing, go into fighter mode the next turn, go to fighter mode on top of it, bottom deck some things, tap this, unsuspend it. It's got some nice synergy, and sometimes you need that bit of extra memory for the push plays. Could the deck run without it? Yeah, but it's nice to have it there. It's okay. And I run 1 of the new Davis. I really went from 3 to 2 to 1 of this card. As I learned, the new mechanics were just not that great. I still like it for occasionally being able to use it like an X antibody. It's nice, 3 memory, guaranteed 1 memory for the turn unless your board is completely gone. And being able to tap it and go into something that came up in 1 game today. But it's not a life changer. And again, if I was going to play more of this, I'd play more of the new Dragon Mode. It's okay, I just don't think it's as good as Dragon Mode Summon 2 level 4s. Like, just not as good. So, it's okay. I might even cut it down the track. We'll see.
Option time.
Options. Pretty damn simple. 4 Hammer Spark, because doing your combos is good. And when you don't have the memory, it's good to just be able to get the memory. Card's good. Then you need to play... I just play the 1 Megadeth at the moment. I don't think this is highly impactful at the moment. There's not too many stack decks, and the stack decks that are there tend to have protection against it. So I don't see the point in clogging my deck full of Megadeths. I was, adamant on 4 of this in things like BT9 format, where big stacks but no protection. Fantastic. At the moment, card's kind of bad, but I think it's important to have 1 for Quartzmon, and maybe the occasional cards, but yeah, I don't think it's a card you want multiple of right now. It's an incredibly good card, but not at the moment. And then you need to play your unfair cards, of course. So Ice Wall to buy you turns. It's another Hammer Spike and Security. You got 5 cards that say gain 2 memory and security, which is
Pretty good.
sometimes good, yeah. And then there might be the difference between getting OTK'd or not. With your Restand decks or Rookie Rush type, card's good. And then the actual best card in this deck, just Hidden Potential. I ran a build without this for a bit, thinking you didn't really need it. However, it's just the card that raises the ceiling much higher in this deck. It just lets you do the unfair things, being able to go into the Dragon mode for free, split. You know, you can do some disgusting things now. If you spit out the 2 BT12 ones from a free Dragon mode, you then Jogress into a 5, you gain 2 memory just for doing that. Now you've got 2 memory to go into fighter mode for 2, detach, add the Dragon mode back, bottom deck all your opponent's stuff. There's just some disgusting plays that come out when you can resolve a Hidden Potential. And for that reason, why wouldn't you run it, right?
Facts. All right, congrats again, my dude.
Thanks, man.
See you next locals.
Thank you.
Hey you, yeah you, you've been wondering where I get my singles from. Well, it brings me great joy to say I get my singles from Grimdark Gaming. Whether you play Yu-Gi-Oh!, Digimon, Dragon Ball, Flesh and Blood, Magic the Gathering, MetaZoo, or whatever it is you're after, make sure with your purchase to use code LOZA2 and apply that to get 5% off your order. And of course, that 5% goes to helping me out to make this channel so awesome for you. So make sure you check out Grimdark Gaming down in the description of this video and use the promo code LOZA2.